Welcome to the channel, guys. This is Rocco at Enter the Fragrance. Now, if you love fragrance, perfume, cologne-related content, make sure you drop a subscribe. Also, like the video. It's much appreciated, and it helps that YouTube algorithm. But today we're going to get into some of my 10 out of 10 fragrances in my collection at the filming of this video. Now, fragrance is subjective, right? But these fragrances make me feel a certain way, and I enjoy the wearing experience. Plus, I mean, it checks all the boxes: performance, longevity, bottle design, and truly everything and anything. So stay tuned. All right, so the first fragrance. This is going to be from the house of Amouage, and truthfully, I'm not a huge fan of the house. However, this line in particular, one of my favorites. Now, this is an extrait version of that fragrance, and today we're going to be talking about Reflection 45 by Amouage. So, going back to what I said earlier, if you watch the beginning of the video, it checks all the boxes: longevity, performance, bottle design, and overall wearing experience. Now, and how about overall scent profile? You gotta like it, right? This is a 10 out of 10. Why? Kind of smells like that old school Tommy Men for Him fragrance that I used to wear as a kid. Beefed up in performance, has some of my favorite notes in there. Orris, Orange Blossom. It's a classy office fragrance. You can wear this in special occasions. And actually, I wore this last Thanksgiving. Got a ton of compliments with it. And it's just magnetic cap, cool bottle. The name, I'm blown away. Easily a 10 out of 10 in my collection. And that's to date. And that again is Amouage Reflection 45. Now, another 10 out of 10 in my collection. Some people limit this fragrance to fall, winter, and sometimes spring, but I wear this even in the summer. Just go light on the sprays, guys. You can wear any fragrance anytime. Just tone down the sprays. However, this is from the house of Argos, and it's one of their best creations yet. Now, I went with this one because the performance is amped up from the OG, and that is Triumph of Bacchus X-Straight. Yes, Triumph of Bacchus X-Straight. Look at that dent. A sweet apple, saffron. I believe there's peach in here. Just a great overall fragrance. Now, it's going to have hints of tobacco, so that might be off-putting to some people. I'm not the biggest tobacco fan, to be honest. Like Carlisle Red Tobacco by Mancera, not my favorite fragrances. Actually, some of my least favorite fragrances. This gets compared to it somehow. I don't know. It doesn't pick up on my nose, but easily a 10 out of 10 based on presentation, long-lasting projection, sillage, and overall wearing experience. And again, that's Argos's Triumph of Bacchus X-Straight. Look at that paint. All right, and this next one, it's kind of a spicier take on an aquatic fragrance. Now, there was one released before this that was more coconut fresh and just more blue style before this one came out. Now, this takes that DNA and adds some spiciness to it, which is very unique. And again, it checks all those boxes we talked about previously. And that is Zaharoff's Seraphim Red. Yes, Seraphim Red. Think of spicy aquatic, a spicy blue fragrance, but not too spicy. Very wearable. I've got a backup bottle of this just in case. Smells fantastic in the air, and as this ages, it just gets better and better. Again, checks those boxes: bottle presentation, longevity, projection. Now, most of these fragrances I'm getting 8+ hours on, if not more. This one in particular, 9 hours I clocked it at performance. But if you want something unique to stand out of the norm, and one of my personal 10 out of 10s, gotta check out the House of Zaharoff. Kind of underrated, talked about a little bit on YouTube, but again, that's Zaharoff's Seraphim Red. Metal plate, hand painted, fantastic stuff. Now, this fragrance gets so much hate. I believe the hate started when it became viral on TikTok. Now, I've talked about this in the past. I picked this up from Europe before it was launched into the United States, and I'm a huge fan of honey. Honey is one of my favorite fragrance notes when it's done right. And I think you might know where I'm going with this fragrance, and that is Le Male Elixir. Yes, Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir, lavender, mint, honey, tobacco, ambery. Just, they've got that signature tonka bean creaminess. A 10 out of 10. Longevity, projection, scent profile, compliment factor, and bottle design. Unbelievable. I think this is one of their best bottle designs yet. I love how you can kind of see the juice in the middle. Now, I do have the new Absolute. I have to give this more wears to determine whether or not it's better than the original. Now, it's still a 10 out of 10. I enjoy that extra plum tartness that comes with this fragrance, but the OG is the OG for a reason, and a 10 out of 10 in my collection. I don't care what anybody says. And that's Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir. All right, and this next one, it was one of the first fragrances that was ever sprayed on me. I believe it came out in 1996. Master perfumer Alberto Marias was behind this creation. And again, checks those boxes. Checks those boxes. And that is from the house of Givenchy, and that's Givenchy's Pi. Great bottle design. Love the Pi symbol. It's got this flip top action going to it, kind of a textured design on the back. Amazing stuff. Way ahead of its time, this fragrance. Now, like I said, this came out in either 96 or 98. I'd have to fact check or leave a comment down below what year this came out in, but unbelievable stuff. Vanilla almond is what I pick up from this, with a touch of spice. Perfectly unisex in my opinion, even though it's marketed towards men. But with the new trend of designers going more sweet and spicy, this again was way ahead of its time. Just reminds me of my childhood, my youth, and personally a 10 out of 10 in my collection. If you haven't tried this, get your nose on it. Super affordable, cheap. And again, that's Givenchy's Pi. Now, I'm going to include this one in the list. It's impossible to find, and it's $300, $400, $500 a bottle on eBay. But nonetheless, I'm going to include it because it checks all those boxes for me. And I have 3 bottles. This bottle and 2 backup bottles. Forbid that they they run out. But that fragrance is from the house of Gucci, and truly and honestly, it's easily their top 3 releases of all time, next to Envy and, in my opinion, Gucci Guilty Elixir. And that fragrance today is Gucci's Pour Homme 2. Pour Homme 2 is such a unique fragrance. It's got notes like pimento. I believe there's some violet leaf. Just nothing has come close to this fragrance. Now, I'm going to give you a hidden fact. There is a fragrance from the brand City Rhythm called Manhattan that gets real close to this DNA. But a very timeless DNA came out in the early 2000s. Great bottle design, great longevity, great projection on my skin, always has been. I go heavier on the sprays because it is a more fresher offering, but nonetheless, 10 out of 10 for life in my collection. Again, that's Gucci Pour Hommes 2. I mean, that blue hue and that gold top, nothing beats it. All right, and this next one, best cherry fragrance of all time, hands down. I don't think anything will dethrone it soon because of the quality, the blend, the presentation, and the long-lasting power behind this cherry fragrance. And that's from the house of Mind Games, and that is French Defense. Yes, French Defense, like I said, presentation on point with all these Mind Games fragrances, magnetic cap, they're all chess pieces. I believe you can get a chessboard at some point when you collect them all, but I have about a dozen in my collection and I absolutely adore this stuff. Compliment factor's high, well blended, not syrupy, sweet cherry. A must try, must own, but if you try this fragrance, be warned that you're gonna want a bottle. This retails about 300-ish. But guys, I do have a code for Mind Games. It'll be linked in the description, ETF10 at mindgames.com. Check it out. You can save at least $30, $40 on a bottle or save some money on a discovery set. But nonetheless, fantastic, alluring, sexy, attractive, statement-making fragrance, a 10 out of 10 in my collection. And that is Mind Games French Defense. Now, this next one was hard to pick. There were 3 different options I could have gone with for an iris fragrance. Now, Dior Homme Parfum, the original, masterpiece. Uomo Intense by Valentino, masterpiece. But based on bottle design, overall scent wearing experience, and this added chocolate vibe to it makes it the best. And it's from the new niche house, House of Dastan, and that is House of Dastan Love Flame. Yes, Love Flame, that is a real dent. I've been wearing it before bed the last month or so. Got a couple full wears in it, and it's just an amazing masterpiece of an iris fragrance. Like I said, buttery iris with a chocolate vibe and some pepper to it. Amazing stuff. Great long-lasting longevity. Great long-lasting power with this fragrance. Again, do like the bottle. Kind of reminds me of Camera, but this bottle was based on Persian architecture, and the name was based on Persian poetry. So I would recommend getting a discovery set. They have some great offerings from this house. And again, that is House of Dastan's Love Flame. As soon as I sprayed it on, one of the best from the house. Now, I do enjoy some of the other flankers. They're all pretty much 8 out of 10s plus, but this newest one, every morning before I go to work or before I have errands to run or do whatever, I want to reach for it. I open the cap and I smell it, and that's from the House of Rasasi, and that is the new Hawas Fire. Such a masterpiece of a fragrance. Now, notes are listed online, something about being aquatic and mineralic. Now, I do pick up some mineralic vibe, but this is definitely a sweet fragrance, but not too cloying sweet. You could rock this any season, any occasion. Huge compliment getter, and I pick up more of like a fruity plum apple with some fresh notes in there. There might be some clary sage, I'm not sure, but it's a fantastic fragrance. Definitely a 10 out of 10 in my current collection. If I could wear one fragrance for life, this would definitely probably be one of them. And again, that's from the House of Rasasi, and that's Rasasi's Hawas Fire. And guys, those are some of my current top 10 fragrances in the collection. Now, there's a lot of scent profiles that are 8, 9s, and 10s, but this list truly captures a full overall 10 out of 10. Now, sometimes we'll post videos as content creators. This is a 10 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10. But these truly are masterpieces, in my opinion. It captivates bottle design, performance, longevity, and overall wearing experience. But if you enjoyed today's video, guys, check me out on TikTok and Instagram. I'll try and post it in the video below. Leave a comment down below, a list of your 10 out of 10s. I'm curious, because there's always new fragrances coming out and fragrances I haven't tried, even though I have over 1,000 bottles. I am always looking for the next hidden gem. But as always, guys, stay clean, stay fresh, and as always, the world is yours. We'll talk soon.